The date was November 16th, 2019. I had recently moved into a new apartment complex somewhere in Colorado. My new job at a well-known hardware store was running me ragged due to preparations for the upcoming Black Friday and holiday madness. I had been working late that night and finally arrived home, eager to climb into my soft, warm bed. As I tucked myself in, I sighed with relief, grateful for the moment of rest. The faint glow of streetlights crept through my window, painting faint patterns on the walls. Everything looked in place, yet something felt off. A strange, unshakable feeling of unease crept over me. Exhausted, I dismissed it as the stress of the day and tried to sleep. I set my alarm clock and closed my eyes, letting the silence of the room envelope me. But my peace was short-lived. I jolted awake to the sound of a vintage alarm clock ringing. Groggy and annoyed, I fumbled for the clock to shut it off. But as my eyes adjusted to the light, confusion swept over me. It was daylight, and the room wasn't mine. The walls were covered in orange-tinted 1970s-style wallpaper. My posters and belongings were gone, replaced by stacks of cardboard boxes. A sinking feeling settled in my stomach as I reached for my phone, only to find an old-fashioned alarm clock and a women's fashion magazine on the nightstand. Everything about the room screamed retro. Thinking it was a bizarre dream, I pinched myself. The sharp pain confirmed it wasn't. Just then, a woman's voice called from another room. "Linda, darling, are you finally awake? We have to be leaving soon. Get yourself up and dressed." My breath hitched. Linda? Who was Linda? I whispered the name under my breath, trying to make sense of it. Still in shock, I wandered to a closet. Inside was a collection of vintage dresses, the kind you'd see in old sitcoms. Hesitantly, I chose one and held it up, feeling disconnected from reality. A giggle startled me. I turned to see a little girl with blonde braids peeking through the doorway. "Linda, Mom's going to be mad if you're not ready soon," she chirped. "Who are you?" I blurted out. The girl tilted her head, looking concerned. "What? I'm Lisa, your sister. Are you okay?" Before I could respond, the woman, their mother, I assumed, appeared behind her. She was in her late 30s, with curly brown hair and a stern expression. "Linda, stop dawdling. We're going to be late. Put on your dress and get out here." Too overwhelmed to argue, I decided to play along. I dressed and joined them, all the while observing my surroundings. The entire house felt frozen in the 1970s, from the furniture to the decor. My eyes landed on a calendar. The date read November 16th, 1974. The woman called again. "Linda, in the car now!" Outside, I found an old green Ford Pinto wagon waiting in the driveway. The woman's frustration was palpable as she snapped at me for making them late. "If we're late meeting your father, you'll be in big trouble," she warned. I stammered an apology, unsure what else to do. As we pulled out of the driveway, a car suddenly spun out of control in front of us. Tires screeched, and metal crunched as it collided with us. I screamed, and everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my bed, my phone's alarm ringing. My familiar room surrounded me, and the clock read November 17th, 2019. Tears streamed down my face as I tried to process what had happened. Who were those people? Why had I been there? Later that day, at work, I struck up a conversation with an elderly customer. I hesitated but eventually asked if she'd ever heard of a car accident in the 1970s. Her face clouded with sorrow. "Yes," she said softly. Back in November 1974, a family was moving to a new house. They were on their way to meet the father when a drunk driver hit them. The mother, Margaret, and her daughters, Lisa and Linda, all died. Only the drunk driver survived. Chills ran down my spine. I returned home and searched online for details. Photos of the family confirmed it. They were the people I'd seen. Even eerier, my apartment complex stood where their house once had. I still don't know why I was drawn into their world. Maybe it was a chance to witness their final moments and share their story. Or perhaps it was all a dream, a hauntingly vivid coincidence. Whatever the reason, I hope their spirits have found peace.